Here's something that'll shock you. The things we consider smart behaviors, they might actually be destroying our intelligence. I'm talking about habits so common, so socially accepted, that millions of people fall into these traps every single day. And the worst part? They think they're being brilliant while their minds slowly shut down. Stick around, because what I'm about to reveal will flip your understanding of intelligence upside down. By the end of this video, you'll spot these warning signs in yourself, and more importantly, you'll know exactly what to do about them. Number 8. The Perfectionist's Prison. Sarah worked at Goldman Sachs. Color-coded calendars, alphabetized files, desk so clean you could perform surgery on it. Her colleagues worshipped her organization. Then came the Company Innovation Challenge. While her messy coworker Jake sketched wild ideas on napkins and won $50,000 for revolutionizing their client onboarding system, Sarah's perfectly formatted presentation fell flat. Why? Here's the brutal truth. Research shows that people who focus on confirming their assumptions rather than trying to disprove their hypotheses often miss breakthrough insights. Your brain becomes so obsessed with maintaining order that it literally blocks the chaotic connections where genius lives. Einstein's desk was a disaster zone. Steve Jobs' office? Total chaos. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray t-shirt to eliminate decision fatigue. But his workspace? Organized chaos that breeds innovation. If your environment is too perfect, your brain stops seeking the unexpected. It becomes a filing cabinet instead of a creativity engine. The most dangerous phrase in innovation? That's not how we do things here. Number 7. The Humor Intelligence Test. Mike thought he was hilarious. Dad jokes, puns, slapstick comedy. He lived for the obvious punchline. Then his daughter brought home her boyfriend, a philosophy major who made everyone laugh with subtle observations about society, irony, and wordplay that went completely over Mike's head. Here's what researchers discovered. Your sense of humor is a direct window into your cognitive complexity. Studies show that confirmation bias and the availability heuristic shape not just our beliefs, but how we process layered information. Think about it. A knock-knock joke? Your brain processes setup, expectation, punchline. Done. But when someone makes a witty observation about how we're all slaves to our smartphones while checking their Instagram, that requires your brain to juggle. The irony, the social commentary, the self-awareness, the timing. Intelligent humor isn't just funny, it's a mental gymnastics routine. If you only laugh at the obvious, your brain might be taking the intellectual equivalent of a nap. Remember, the smartest people in the room aren't just getting the jokes, they're the ones making connections nobody else sees. Number 6. The Dangerous Calm. Meet Tom. 28 years old, never worried about anything. Student loans? It'll work out. Climate change? Someone will figure it out. His retirement savings account? $0, but hey, I'm young. While his anxious friends called him Zen, psychologists have a different name for Tom's condition, cognitive underestimation syndrome. Here's the terrifying reality. Intelligent brains are constantly running disaster simulations. Not to torture you, but to prepare you. Research on survivorship bias shows that we often focus on successful outcomes while ignoring the failures that could teach us valuable lessons. Warren Buffett doesn't invest in companies because he's optimistic. He invests because he spent decades analyzing what could go wrong. Navy SEALs don't train for success. They train for the moment when everything goes sideways. The most successful people aren't fearless. They're strategically paranoid. They ask, what if? How could this fail? What am I missing? If you never worry, you're not being enlightened. You're being intellectually negligent. Your brain has stopped doing its job as your early warning system. Number 5. The Focus Faker. Jessica sits in every meeting with her laptop open, taking notes. But her screen tells a different story. Instagram, Amazon, news feeds, text messages. She thinks she's multitasking like a boss. She's actually training her brain to be weak. Here's what neuroscience reveals. Current research shows that true intelligence involves deep understanding and modeling capabilities, not just surface-level pattern recognition. Every time you switch tasks, your brain burns glucose, your mental fuel. It's like revving your car engine while sitting in park. You're burning energy but going nowhere. Stanford researchers tracked multitaskers and found something shocking. They're worse at filtering irrelevant information, managing working memory, switching between tasks effectively. The people who think they're productivity machines, They're actually creating mental Swiss cheese, full of holes where deep thinking used to live. Meanwhile, the person who can sit through a 2-hour documentary without checking their phone, their brain is building muscle. Deep focus isn't just concentration, it's intelligence training. Number 4, the early bird trap. The early bird catches the worm, right? Wrong. This might be the most dangerous productivity myth destroying American creativity. Meet David. Up at 5 a.m., gym by 5:30, office by 7 a.m. He's proud of his routine. But here's what happened when his company needed a breakthrough solution. While David was following his rigid morning schedule, his night owl colleague Maria was having a 2 a.m. epiphany that saved the company $2 million. Research from the University of Liege found something stunning. Evening people consistently outperform morning people on tests measuring creative insight, novel problem solving, non-conventional thinking. Why? Your brain's default mode network, where breakthrough ideas are born, is most active when you're not following society's schedule. Einstein developed relativity theory during late-night walks. Darwin's best insights came during afternoon thinking paths. If you're waking up with everyone else, thinking like everyone else, at the same time as everyone else, when exactly are you going to have a unique thought? The most dangerous trap isn't being lazy. It's being conventionally productive while your creativity dies. Number 3, the echo chamber mind. Listen to yourself for the next 60 seconds. What's your inner voice saying? If it sounds like a Twitter feed, a news anchor, or your college professor, you're in trouble. Dr. Emily Rodriguez, a cognitive scientist at MIT, calls this intellectual identity theft. Your inner dialogue, the most private space in your mind, has been hijacked by other people's thoughts. Here's the test. When facing a problem, does your inner voice ask original questions, challenge your assumptions, generate multiple solutions, or does it just repeat what you've heard before? Research on confirmation bias reveals how echo chambers form, with biases like stereotype threat and the availability heuristic shaping our beliefs and interactions. When your internal voice becomes an external echo, you've stopped thinking and started parroting. The smartest people have loud inner rebels. They question everything, especially their own beliefs. Their minds are debate clubs, not recording devices. If your thoughts sound familiar, they're not your thoughts. Number 2, the productivity paradox. Marcus runs 3 businesses, volunteers on 2 boards, coaches his son's soccer team, and somehow finds time for marathon training. Everyone calls him a success machine. But here's what nobody sees. Last month, his 8-year-old solved a puzzle in 5 minutes that took Marcus an hour. Why? Because Marcus's brain is so busy doing things, it's forgotten how to think about things. Remember the German general's wisdom. The smartest officers are clever and lazy because they find the simplest path to victory. This connects to how people often focus on confirming their assumptions rather than seeking more efficient solutions. Bill Gates doesn't answer emails immediately. He thinks about problems for weeks before acting. Warren Buffett's calendar has huge blocks of empty time labeled think. Your busyness isn't proving your worth. It's hiding your inability to distinguish between motion and progress. The most intelligent move? Sometimes it's doing absolutely nothing until you figure out the right thing to do. Smart people aren't busy, they're selective. Number 1, the pattern blindness epidemic. This is the big one. The intelligence killer that's hiding in plain sight. Jennifer worked with Tom for 3 years. Never noticed he always wore long sleeves, even in summer. Never saw how he avoided team lunches. Never picked up on his nervous laughter when discussing family. Then Tom quietly resigned, and she learned he'd been struggling with depression for months. I had no idea, Jennifer said, but the signs were everywhere. Here's the brutal truth. True intelligence involves deep understanding and modeling capabilities beyond surface-level pattern recognition. Your brain is designed to be a detective, but most of us have turned it into a security guard, only noticing obvious threats while missing the subtle signals that matter most. The smartest people see what's not there, the smile that doesn't reach the eyes, the joke that's actually a cry for help, the opportunity hidden in the complaint, the pattern behind the chaos. This isn't about being psychic, it's about being present, about training your brain to notice the 93% of communication that isn't words. If you're constantly surprised by outcomes that others saw coming, your intelligence isn't just low, it's dangerously dormant. Here's what nobody wants to admit. These aren't just bad habits. They're intelligence assassins, quietly murdering your mental potential while you sleep through your own cognitive decline. But here's the hope. Every single one of these patterns can be reversed. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity. It can literally rewire itself at any age. Want to break free? Start with one change. Replace 1 hour of organization with deliberate chaos. Seek humor that challenges you. Let yourself worry strategically about one important thing. Practice focusing without distractions for just 10 minutes. Question one belief you've never examined. Eliminate one unnecessary busy task. Spend 5 minutes truly observing someone's body language. Your next level of intelligence is waiting, but only if you're brave enough to admit these patterns exist in your life. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these hit closest to home. Use the words intelligence patterns in your comment. I read every single one, and I'll share the most powerful strategies for breaking free from whichever trap you're stuck in. Remember, the difference between intelligent people and everyone else isn't talent, it's awareness. Now that you're aware, what are you going to do about it? Don't let your mind become a prisoner of its own success. Break free. Think different. Be different. The revolution starts in your mind. Make it count. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. So make sure to subscribe to see them, so you don't miss it.